Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video, we're going to cover the Dow. Now, I'm going to start with looking at the Dow from a couple different time frames. The most important really to me is what's been going on the daily, and the reason for that is part of my curiosity about where we are right now, which is in the middle of a range, is whether or not today was going to be a little bit of a weakness day or a strength day. Now, since we were still trading underneath this Darvis level as well as the moving averages, this is the 55 and the 89, I thought, well, let's look for some weakness. And on the open, that's exactly what we saw. We saw the market react to a clearing range breakdown trade. That is a time-based trade that I like to take right after the 10 a.m., the end of what's known as the clearing is complete, and it's a pure momentum trade. And it was a nice trade that just took us down to test 24.3 and a little bit below that. So pretty easy short-term time frame momentum trade that you can take on a 1 or a 5-minute time frame. The time frame isn't important. It's the actual break of support. So that's the first trade of the day. And really, as that particular trade was underway, there also was another trend following trade. So really two trades in the morning for me, one taken here and one taken here. Now, normally I will forego the trading hours between here and here for a number of reasons. Some of you might run other businesses. Some of you might have a gym, family, who knows what. But if there is a time that I will typically take off, it's going to be between those 2 hours. And that I mentioned today because some of you are okay trading the entire trading day. I mean, you're at your desk and you'll do it. And that's great. That's fine too. This isn't a typical thing, but we are seeing it happen a little bit more often, but that is the midday rally. Now, I typically don't trust rallies that will happen between 11:30 and 1:30 Eastern. I would rather the rally start just a little earlier, around 11:30, or a little bit later at 1:30. And that's oftentimes when we will see this. We'll catch, as they call, the 1:30 bid. And I love when that triggers this kind of trade. But something I want to give you guys a heads up on. It seems the middle lunchtime doldrums, the heart of doldrums rally is triggering some really clean intraday, we call wave reversals or trend switches. And that's a fantastic example of one right here. Now, what is it that I'm noting? We had a downtrend before. We had no dots preceding the switch. In other words, the propulsion to the downside really was subsiding just shortly after about 10:40. We went blue. We went neutral on the grab candles. That's another really good sign of some sort of stall. I'm not going to assume the market's going to reverse until I start to break the top line of the wave. And that is where you see the momentum start to shift or switch from down to up. And that was a hell of a trade. The remainder of the day were a couple nice buys off some pullbacks, one on the 5-minute here, another one on the 15-minute chart, not on this, but these were two nice buys between 2 and 4 p.m. So we actually had some decent price action today after two sessions that were really sort of handcuffed by a certain amount of hesitation that led up into the Iran sanction conversation and then post the decision. But it looks like we're going to have a pretty good trading week from here on out. If this YM today is any evidence of that, should be some great moves for intraday traders.